Two really big stories for you guys today. One is about an Iron Man game that could be actually coming, and if it's done right, it could be on the same level as Spider-Man and the upcoming Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. We're going to get into that, and we are going to talk about Tencent Games. A lot of you don't even know who that is, but they actually own most of the video games you play, or they have big controlling shares. Activision, Blizzard, Supercell, Ubisoft, Fortnite, Epic Games, they own everything. And now they are trying to acquire basically another franchise as well. So we'll get into that as well. Do me a favor. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you have all those notifications on. Welcome to Video Game Leaks. Yes, this is Chaos. I see some of the comments saying, that voice sounds really familiar. Yes, this is my channel along with the Video Game Leaks team, and we put out all these stories, leaks, rumors, everything for you guys in the gaming community. And I haven't done this in years, but I wanted to ask you, I want a like goal for this video. Can we hit 1,000 likes on this video? I just want to see what kind of pull this audience has with this channel. So let's get into this. Drop a like as we go, and we'll start off with Iron Man. Now, Iron Man has had a number of games, a number of them in the last couple decades, but you'd be forgiven for erasing every single one of them from your memory banks because they were awful. Now, there were video games released alongside the first two Iron Man movies, and both were trying to be this big, bold, ambitious third-person action game, but the ambitions, they were way too big, and the development schedules were way too short. Now, both the MCU Iron Man games were awful. In superhero games as a whole, they kind of dropped in popularity during the mid-2010s. However, a couple great releases, well, they helped revive the superhero game genre. We're now hearing reports that major publishers are starting to take notice, and guess what? That means new projects into production, and there's not anybody any more popular than Iron Man. Now, about a week ago, we reported on a Black Panther game that was leaked by industry insider Jeff Grubb and later corroborated by other trusted names. But there was just the other day on his podcast, he also mentioned a second Marvel game in development at EA alongside the Black Panther RPG. After this news started flying around the internet, Tom Henderson, who is one of the most trusted names in the online gaming news world, we cite him all the time when it comes to news and leaks, he chimed in. He said he also knows about his second EA Marvel game in development, and that he's heard Iron Man will be the starring character. Henderson claimed, I've heard a few rumors that it's Iron Man, but I never had anything concrete to fully report on. So put this heavily under the rumor category for now, and if I see more information that's concrete, I will report back to you guys properly. Like I said, EA is seemingly working on a huge Black Panther RPG in response to the success of their single-player Star Wars games, and if that's the case, it makes total sense for them to work on multiple projects at once. EA is all about getting the biggest and most marketable games possible out on the market as efficiently as possible, so if they're working alongside Marvel, they definitely have more than one project in the works. That would be my guess. The only question that remains is whether or not they'll let past practices get the best of them. Now, the rumors say Black Panther is getting the time and space it needs and will not be hampered by microtransactions, similar to Jedi Fallen Order, so hopefully this rumored Iron Man game, if it's true, is the same way. Now, it remains unknown if the game will be a third-person action title or an open-world RPG or something totally different, but I'll keep you updated as soon as we have more information on it. Now, with how awesome of a character Iron Man is and how perfectly his powers translate to video games, it's time. It's time we got a really good big-budget Iron Man game. It could be so good. It could be up there with Spider-Man. No low-effort cash grabs this time around. Make it good. Now, let's talk about Tencent Games. Or not Tencent Games. Tencent the company. It's one of the biggest companies in the gaming industry. It's one of the biggest companies in the world, despite barely making any games. Instead of being a development studio, Tencent is this giant Chinese technology conglomerate that has a stake in most of your major video game companies that you know about. They completely own 9 companies, including Riot Games, and they have a huge stake in almost 3 dozen more. Like I said earlier, Epic Games, Remedy Entertainment, Jaeger Development, Activision Blizzard. They hold a 5% stake in Ubisoft, which is one of the biggest companies in the entire industry, and it boasts an annual gross revenue of over $1 billion just in North America. Now, as the industry grows and more major corporations want a piece of that pie, more gigantic buyouts are coming. And a recent insider report claims that Tencent is now, they're looking to acquire another target. According to the exclusive report, Tencent plans to raise its stake in Ubisoft after buying 5% back in 2018. Now, Ubisoft is currently valued at a smooth $5.3 billion, and it's unclear how much of the stake Tencent is attempting to buy, but sources close to that situation believe the purchase will make them the single largest stakeholder in the company. As of right now, the largest Ubisoft shareholder is the Guillemot family. I hope I said that right, at 15%, and this is reportedly who Tencent is buying from. This would put them at 20% shareholders, but it's unclear if they intend to buy more from other sources as well. I mean, in order to even hold more influence over Ubisoft. Now, it's also unclear just how much of this family stock is going to be sold, as I don't think they're going to completely sell off their share when Ubisoft is doing so well right now, but you never know. You really don't. You may not like Ubisoft's business practices, but they're a very profitable company and one of the most recognizable names in the industry, so there's a lot of long-term money to be made from a buy like this. And yes, this directly affects your Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, given that Ubisoft is one of the biggest independent game developers in the world, Tencent taking a larger stake would be a huge deal, as they've been doing it a lot. If they found a company that's doing well but doesn't have anyone helping paying the bills, they swoop in and use it as an opportunity to invest and expand their influence and profits. Now, some have pointed out that if the report is true and Tencent truly is looking to raise their stake in Ubisoft, it's probably a takeover. That's probably not going to happen, okay? Due to Tencent's bad rep among gamers, which I get it, the news of them expanding their influence in Ubisoft has been received almost exclusively poorly. I mean, it makes sense. So we'll see if this deal goes through. But if the reports are starting to leak, we'll probably hear something official about it in the coming days. And people will ask, well, even if they own 30% of Ubisoft, does that make them their boss? Does that say they tell them what games to make? I mean, it goes down the ladder from publishers to developers, but in the essence, they have the big hammer. They swing the big hammer. Now, do they make those decisions on that level of, oh, you're going to go make Assassin's Creed this or Assassin's Creed that? No, not necessarily, but they have influence. The word influence is just as powerful as decision making when it comes to what the devs are doing or the publishers are doing. They have the top to bottom influence if they're that big of a stakeholder. So just keep that in mind. I mean, when you say influence, you say you kind of guide things how you want them to go. So you guys can read between the lines. That's it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about an Iron Man game. Just put it on Insomniac Games. Let them handle every superhero game that's ever going to come out again. That's what I say. Like I said, 1,000 like goal. Let's see if we can hit it on this video, and I'll see you guys soon.